Welcome, heretics. Hello, welcome back to the Warhammer Book Club with me, Mira Manga.
And me, Arbiter Ian. You got me.
Yeah, we are a book club. We read books and you can read them too and then watch this. Don't watch it before you read the book because it'll have spoilers in it. Unless you want to pretend to your friends that you've read the book and then you can watch this and pretend like you read it and just trust us to be correct.
Yeah, you can trust us.
Today's book...
Yeah. I'll say hello to anyone listening.
Oh, this is a podcast. Yeah, all right, stuff. This is a podcast. Also, it's a YouTube channel. You can get them in both those places. We're both people. We have YouTube channels. Or links are in the thing below. We have merch. Buy it. We have memberships. Join them. Thanks, everyone. What's the book, Mira?
It is, and I can't believe we're finally here. This is the most anticipated book of the Heresy so far. People, I can't wait to read this, can't wait to read this. Today, Ian, we are reading Betrayal by ADB, most loved Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
And Dembski-Bowden.
Bowden.
I think, I assume.
Loud and bowed and proud.
So, yeah, it's Betrayer. We're doing Betrayer.
Yeah,
finally. The 472nd book in the Horus Heresy series, and a sequel to No Fear, the book about Calth.
407. Let's say the actual.
It's book 20-something.
It's book 24.
24.
So we're like a third of the way through.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Looking forward to.
Yeah. So yeah, we're in this. It's sort of a sequel to two books, right? It's sort of a sequel to The First Heretic. Yes. And it's sort of a sequel to No Fear, which is the one at Calth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a sequel to that horrible short story we had to read.
Yeah.
Aurelian, but also After Dacia.
Oh,
remember in Tales
After
of the Heresy.
Yeah.
Dacia.
Where Angron gets beamed up against his will.
Don't we all?
Yay.
But yeah. So really... But so many people have been so excited for us to read this. And I think it's because so much comes together and happens.
Yeah, it's a big joining up of themes from other books, which is quite nice. So before we start...
Should we talk about our tea?
Oh, yeah, we should do a tea. We've got tea. So there's a lot of burning battlefields lists. We've gone for a smoky tea. Mira wanted a smoky tea. This is Butterfly Lapsang Souchong. No, it's very smoky. Neither the podcasters or the YouTube people can tell that.
Gosh.
We haven't invented Smello Tube yet.
No, if only I could tell you. This is really one of the best I've ever had, I think.
It's good, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Oh, we do really need to start making our own tea, Ian.
Yeah, we should do that.
I'll get on to that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll start growing it.
Good, brilliant. Okay, Mira, if you will, your action movie plot summary.
Okay. In a world where we have realised all hope has just no point, and the baddies are baddying, you too can enjoy Angron Smash, Lorgar Smoothie Doody, and maybe a tiny soupçon of Guilliman. No, Rabute. What's his name?
Yeah.
Ultramarine Guilliman joining in what is actually quite devastating, and be reunited with favourites. Argel Tal, but not for long, and be reunited with the biggest bastard, Erebus, which was a really horrid surprise. Yeah,
he's back.
Join us as we read Betrayer.
Yeah, so this is a fun one. This is
Yeah, it's
a fun one. So this is not only a book about the word bearers, but it's mostly a book about the world eaters, who in the Horus Heresy haven't got a book yet. Like they're in a lot of books. We've seen Kharne. We saw him like right at the very start.
Yeah.
They popped up a few times there. You know, a lot of the world eaters are in Galaxy in Flames when Isfan 3's happening and they're killing each other. But they're always like seen from the point of view of other characters. This is the 24 books in. This is the first world eaters book.
This is a full-on Angron book. And we understand, we get so much. We get history, we get motivation, we get philosophy, all of this stuff.
And we've got, it's After Dacia is the one where Angron's been captured after his thing and he's killing anyone who goes in.
Yeah.
And Kharne is the only one who manages to not get killed.
Yeah.
So Kharne becomes the equerry, the 8th captain, Kharne becomes the equerry to Angron.
Yeah.
And kind of the only person who can kind of talk him down.
Yeah. Pretty much. What a title.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I want to jump to the end, but absolute scenes at the end of this book.
True. Yeah.
Absolute shocking.
There's some great ideas in there. But let's get into
Ian got about 500 questions as well.
Yeah, that I did put up a question thread for this and Honor Bound and all the questions for this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel Harrison. We start with a bit of a flashback back to Isfahan 3. We meet Destroyer Sergeant Skane. So the World Eaters are going to be quite fun because they're the most jaded of the legions, right?
Okay.
They're easily the ones who are most personable, and most like us, and most like, what the fuck are we doing? And I like that we start with the Destroyer Sergeant. Destroyers are a special squad in all the legions that deal with horrific war crime weaponry. So they use like radiation grenades and things,
my Lord.
which of course hurts them.
Yeah.
So all their armor is like charred black from all the horrific weapons they use.
Gosh.
So we meet Destroyer Sergeant Skane of the World Eaters 8th Company. It signals an apothecary, Kargos, who becomes a really big character, that he's found their captain, Kharne, impaled on a Land Raiders dozer blade.
So bad.
It really interestingly, if you read Dropsite Massacre,
Yeah.
which is the newest book, but actually happens just a bit after this, he's still recovering.
Yeah, I love that. Why aren't we talking about Dropsite Massacre?
I know, right?
We've
both read it,
Okay.
and I've done the notes.
We'll do that next.
Yeah, we should do that next. All right, great. Anyway, that's happened. Kharne got hurt on Isfahan, but he survived. We jump to the Heresy.
Yeah.
We're aboard Lorgar's ship. Fidelitas Lex and Lorgar and Magnus are having another conversation about philosophy again.
Yeah.
Magnus, by this point, has been fully Prospero burned, and is like,
he's had his soul keyed.
Wizard.
Yeah, he's a wizard. And they're talking about basically Angron is completely bonkers and the nails in his head are not doing him any favours.
Yeah, and Lorgar's kind of like, I'm going to save him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nails in Angron's head are making him degenerate. No one can save him.
Yeah.
So Lorgar's going, I've got an idea and it's definitely a good one.
Oh dear. Don't trust Lorgar.
They are on the Shadow Crusade. So what's happened is Calth's happened. Corphaeron and the gang went and did Calth. And while that was happening, Lorgar's taken Angron and they've gone and rampaged round the worlds of Ultramar.
Yeah. But they're being so mean. They're 500 proud words of the Ultramarines under their protection. They're just destroying it with, mindless destruction.
So they arrive at the Ultramarines war world, Armatura, which is where they do all their training of new recruits and making of weapons. And they're like, great, we're going to fuck up Armatura. That way the Ultramarines won't be able to do anything. Brilliant. And out of the warp comes the Fidelitas Lex, along with two more Furious Abysses, making the Furious Abyss plotline more irrelevant? I'm not sure. Turns out, anyway, Furious Abyss, which was the Battle for the Abyss book 4 billion books ago, he actually made 3 of them.
Which is insane.
The Blessed Lady and the Trisagion.
See all the betrayal and the treachery that was going on years before? I had enough time to build
3. There's 3 of them. So they come out and they're like, right. And the other thing that's in this fleet is the World Eaters fleet, and their flagship is the Conqueror. So the Conqueror's there too. And we meet, turns out, best mates.
Yeah.
Kharne, the
so cute
8th captain, and Argel Tal.
Yeah.
They're best buds.
Romance.
And they're having a chat. They're like, whoa, look at this. Look how we're going to go and fight in Armatura together, are we? And then you sort of see how the World Eaters see their Primarch. Angron comes in and basically takes the piss out of Argel Tal to try and get him to fight him for a laugh. Particularly insulting the memory of Cyrene for a joke.
We've both learned how to say Cyrene.
Yeah, both learned how to make Cyrene, Argel Tal, we learned...
he gets angry and goes, and wings come out of him.
He's embraced his demonness, Raum, and when he does that, he turns into a big demon monster. Yeah. And he's fighting with the 2 Custodes weapons that were the Custodes that killed Cyrene. Like the halberd and the sword.
Yeah.
Also, we learn a lot here about kind of how the World Eaters work. They don't really have a home world. They speak a language called Nagrakali, which is called a mongrel dialect from all the places they come from. They don't really feel much kinship to Angron. They want to, but it's very clear that he's broken. All the other Primarchs are described as when they walk in, people can't help but kneel, and Angron doesn't do that to people.
No.
He doesn't have that effect.
Angron just doesn't care about any of his sons. It's really sad. I got a quote. So Kharne says to Argel Tal, because Argel Tal's saying, your dad's a bit of a dick. And he goes, why do you think we let him beat the nails into our heads? We hoped that by breaking ourselves on the same anvil, we'd finally feel unity with our father. It didn't work. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
So there's this real bleakness to the World Eaters. They're and Angron. Angron's very much like, you've taken away all my hopes and dreams and my father's a tyrant. Fine. I guess I'm good for nothing else. I'll fight this war.
Yeah.
And because I enjoy it and I have to, and I've got the butcher's nails, so if I don't fight, I'm in agony. And all of his sons are like, fine, I guess we've been inducted into this death legion. Yeah. Fine, whatever, we'll find what we can out of it.
And they are so chaotic. They're like the worst class at school. They don't line up.
Yeah.
They don't do things in formation. They Leroy Jenkins. They're just bad.
Yeah.
Naughty.
They're terrible soldiers. Yeah. And they're all very good at what they do. But and even Kharne's aware of like, there's no point. There's a great scene later on where they can't wait. Like they're like, the Ultramarines know that if you run forward, you're going to take huge casualties. But we're not going to be capable of standing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're very good at butchering.
In the meantime, Armatura is starting. So down in Armatura, things are going terribly.
It's a big dust cloud of destruction. Down there.
They can't. Yeah,
there's no formation. There's no plan.
No, there's a 13th Legion Ultramarine shield wall, and Kharne is forced to lead a charge into it, which is a terrible idea because they can't stop from charging. We also he then, while he's doing this, gets a message from the captain of the Conqueror, whose best character, Lotta Asarin. Not best character, second best character.
I love her.
Yeah. So Lotta Asarin is the angriest ship commander in the Imperium, and she's Angron's ship commander. She's marked out by having a big red bloody hand on her
her
chest.
Only honour that she cares about.
Yeah, because that means that Angron likes you.
Yeah.
You've got the red hand.
But she's noticed that. She goes, hey guys, just so you know, Ultramarines have set up every building to collapse on you.
Yeah.
So please be careful. And they're like, we don't care.
Yeah. And Angron's also getting worse. Can you go and help him? Because he's about to be buried under rubble by these collapsing buildings.
Too late.
Yeah, so he does. That happens. Angron gets buried under the rubble, and Lorgar decides, I'm going to make planetfall and help my brother.
Yeah. But Angron is afraid of the dark.
Yeah, well...
he is. He's scared of the dark, it says. And he flashbacks to like having to leave his planet and abandon his family. He doesn't realise he's burying the wrong way.
He's digging out, but he's digging down.
And a voice in his head, which turns out to be 19 of the librarians and psychers. Yes. They call themselves the Communion.
Yeah.
You're going the wrong way, Angron.
Yeah. And Angron hates it. He listens, but he hates it.
And he hates psychers, doesn't he?
But also because their presence... So there's this whole thing you find out that like the World Eaters had psychers, but when they started installing the Butcher's Nails, invariably the Butcher's Nails kill the psychers. And psychics hurt the other word bearers who have nails. So the nails get hurt by psychers being nearby. Yeah. And so the remaining psychers are like weird remnants of the old Legion. The Legion used to be called the Warhounds,
before
which becomes very
was
important.
Found, yeah.
Yeah. And all the psychers basically live in this haunted library, like an empty librarian. You can't make any more of them. The Butcher's Nails kill any of them. So they've not got the nails. They don't feel like part of the gang.
No.
They figured out that if they join forces, they can make this a gestalt entity called the Communion that can get through to Angron.
Yeah.
So Angron's underground. He's in great pain because the psychers are talking to him, but they managed to get him to turn around.
Yeah, because he dug 200 feet downwards and he was only 30 feet from the surface when he started.
Yeah.
I like
anyway,
that bit.
So Lorgar teleports in, starts digging his brother out. Some loyalist knights, Titans, Warhounds approach. Lorgar is shot by a plasma blast gun attempting to stop the plasma blast gun from...
Crispy Lorgar.
Yeah, so...
and he's holding a foot up, isn't he? Or
so,
something.
And then the Titan goes to crush him, and Angron pops out the ground and stops it from happening, right? And then they're rescued by... They're rescued by the local mates of the World Eaters, their own Titan Legion, the Legio Audax.
Yes.
The Legio Audax only have Warhounds.
Yeah.
And the Warhounds have harpoons.
So it's like AT-ATs in Star Wars. Yeah. They bring them down and they love like moving as a pack. They're like horrible, wolfy, ruthless bastards.
Warhound Sigala from the Emberwolves, Legio Audax, they have harpoons, harpoon off the other, before he can squash Angron, gets harpooned on the back and pulled over. And then the remnants of the battle, Kharne tells a tech priest to recover all the tooths of Angron's axe, Gorechild, which Angron threw away because it broke. Yeah. And Angron's got this whole thing, this soup, and they're like, are you sure you want to do this? You know his whole thing about weapons. He's of the opinion that you don't repair weapons. If a weapon breaks, you get another one.
Don't inherit a weapon.
Yeah, you shouldn't inherit weapons. Yeah. Which is
God, I love this book.
Tradition. It's great, isn't it? It's so well thought out. Anyway, up in space, Latara and the Conqueror are getting bored. An Ultramarine ship tries to flee, the Praetorian Truth. And they chase it, and they sort of force it to do a last stand. They catch it with Ursus claws, which are big harpoons that are on the ships as well. And the Ultramarine ships is like, the Ultramarine ship can't get away, but when it gets caught, it sends boarders, and the Conqueror's like, fine, what are they going to do? And then Latara realizes that the company that are called the Triari, who are
highly trained
shipboard boarding people who defend the Conqueror and always stay on the Conqueror to defend the Conqueror, led by a guy called Delvarus, couldn't be fucked. And they went down to the planet to do a bit of fighting.
They were too excited. They wanted to go to the planet.
And so suddenly they were like, so there's no Space Marines on board because all the word leads sent down. And now the Ultramarines are boarding us and we have no one to defend because our defenders got bored and went to the planet to do some fighting.
Well, hang on, Ian. There is someone in the very dusty archives of the ship.
So Latara goes down to the deep bays and they wake up dreadnoughts. All the dreadnoughts still standing get woken, but they're led by a guy called Lork. Lork,
love Lork,
is the old Legion master who commanded the Warhounds before they got reunited.
Before they even had Angron.
Yeah, it's a whole person before, because in After the Shea, the Legion master is a guy called Greer, who is Lork's successor. So Lork got hurt, put in a dreadnought. Greer took over as Legion master. Greer's the guy that Angron takes over from. Which means Lork is a Warhound, no butcher's nails.
Yeah, and he has a little Warhound on his uniform instead of the usual World Eater stuff. So
he is awakened along with other old dreadnoughts who are a mix of Warhounds and World Eaters.
And I love old dreadnoughts. I think that's my fetish.
Yeah.
Old dreadnoughts.
Older dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
And there's quite an interesting thing where they inload and he's like, Latara's like, we're being boarded. And he's like, who's the enemy? And she's like, the Ultramarines. And he's like, what? What's happened?
Yeah, it's so good. We have to, it's like when they find that Klingon ship that they forgot in The Next Generation. Now listen, these Klingons have been frozen. They don't realise we're friends now. But yeah, I mean, and Lorca was a very unexpected character. I did not think any of the World Eaters would be goodies.
It's a really nice ad, isn't it? To add in some Warhounds to show you how different they are and what happened.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, so that's really good. So he leads he's trying to keep his dreadnoughts vaguely sane.
Yeah.
He leads them in defence. They take care of the borders, but a lot of the, like 10% of the crew are killed. Yeah. A lot of the command deck crew are killed. It means that Conqueror is going to be really hurt from now on because
lots of butchery happens.
Down on this planet, Sigala is brought down.
Yeah.
Her because they don't have Legion support. They don't have any bodyguards around their feet, which they need. The World Eaters are fucked off again. Her Princeps is slain, and its two Moderati are saved by Argel Tal, who flies in and picks them up. And they take him back to the ship, and they meet Administrator Princeps Orden Lyrak. So all of them are like, wow, the guy in charge of this was the king of Emberwolves. He was the best Princeps. Now the person who's in charge is Lyrak, who's like, they think of as being like the administrator.
Yeah.
And they're like, no one likes Lyrak. Everyone hates Lyrak. And Lyrak takes away these two Moderati who hate him. They're like, God, this idiot's now in charge. Our Princeps was the best, and now this idiot's going to go and blame us for losing a Titan, and he hates us, and they take him away for debriefing.
We get some nice little Titan lore where they're really sad because their machine's in pain, and then they lose one of their operators, and
And they think Sigala's going to be decommissioned because it's so badly hurt. And Latara Saren.
Yeah.
Or Lotara or Latara. I don't know. I haven't listened to the audiobook. Who does that? Saren, when Chalet walks on, there's a scene in the loading bay. So all the World Eaters are coming back.
Yeah.
And the Triari and Delvarus get off their ship, and Saren walks up to them, pulls a las pistol and shoots him in the face. Right?
You!
Obviously, if they're challenging him to a duel, which is insanity.
Yeah.
When Delvarus gets ready to kill her, Skane, the destroyer captain, and Codicia Esker, who's one of the Psychers, stop it from turning into a bloodbath, and Delvarus is confined to quarters.
Yeah, she sends him away like a naughty boy.
Yeah. He ends up in the fighting. So there's this big thing they do.
I thought that was very clever.
Called the fighting.
Let's face it, you cannot really tell a Space Marine off. If they don't care, there's not a lot you can do. And there's no hierarchy in the World Eaters that would, behoove that. Yeah. But this is a really clever way of them sorting out Delvarus's cocky attitude. So.
Yeah, so there's a thing called the fighting pits that we've heard about before. It's a tradition from Angron's homeworld. They draw a circle on the deck of a loading bay, and you go in the pit and you pick who. It's just a challenge, like, and you pick whether it's to first blood, third blood, or death.
Yeah.
And people stay in the pit. It's like people stay in the pit as long as they can. Sometimes people do it in doubles. They can do double fighting pits chained together.
There's really cute flashbacks of Kharne and
Sigismund.
Yeah,
Kharne and Sigismund do it. And Kharne doesn't do them. There's a whole thing about Kharne isn't very good at the fighting pits.
Yeah.
He's great in real combat, but in the fighting pits he's not very good at it. And there's this weird thing that Kargos, Apothecary Gargos, is incredibly good at the fighting pits, and they call him Blood Spitter because he spits blood in the faces of it. He's in some old fight. He spat blood in the eyes of his enemy anyway. Later that day, they're in the fighting pits, and Delvarys is in, and he's like winning. He's like, yeah, I'm the best. I don't care. I'm going to beat you in the fighting pits. And then someone else steps on. He's like, yeah, okay, third blood. And Delvarys fights them and wins. And the next one steps on and goes third blood. And Delvarys fights like 9 in a row and then goes, right, well, I think I've proved my point. And all the word bearers close ranks. And are like, no, you're not leaving the pit.
Yeah, we're going to keep on.
You're going to keep on until you are beaten to shit.
Yeah.
And that's how they enforce discipline.
Yeah. I mean,
Kargos Kargos does to the death and then leaves them alive.
Yeah. I mean, this has ruined me because I quite enjoyed that. I was like, good justice. I was like, what's happened to me? It's very, very bloodthirsty. Very well done. But yeah,
they force him to fight like 30 bouts. And then the last one is Kargos, who goes great to the death then. Yeah. And he loses and Kargos lets him live as a lesson.
And then possibly the worst thing happens. So we're just turning over an innocent page. There's a blank bit.
Frickin' Erebus turns up.
If somebody's waking up in a cabin, who is it? And you're like, who's this? And then someone goes, oh, morning, Lord Erebus. And I was like, no one told me Erebus was going to be in this bloody book.
Yeah, Erebus
had enough of him.
Walks across.
He's in so many Heresy books.
So he turns up. That's all we know at this point. He turns up, but it's going to get annoying. So anyway, 3 days later, we're back on the Fidelis Lex. Argel Tal pays his respects to the tomb of Cyrene, and Erebus turns up and he's like, Argel Tal, now.
Erebus slimes along.
Kharne, your mate Kharne, he's going to get betrayed.
Yeah.
And only you can save him.
In the warp.
And also, if you help, you need to like do it. And I can resurrect for you Cyrene. I can go and find her soul in the warp and bring her back. Can you go and get the corpse? And I'll do it. So, and
Argel Tal probably normally would not deal with, because Erebus found him when he was a little boy. Argel Tal thinks very little of him, but he's like, because I miss Cyrene so much and I blame myself for her death, let's do it.
Right. So he gets his mate Kharne to help, and they go down into the depths of the Fidelis Lex and kill a load of cultists who have stolen her corpse away for like weird worship. And they bring the corpse back, and then Erebus brings Cyrene back to life in a horrific ritual. And when she comes back to life, she can see again.
Yeah.
Because she was only blinded because of what the Ultramarines did on Kurt.
It has to be said, she's pretty disgusted by the state of what she sees.
Yeah.
Like apparently the lower decks are full of like corpses and bodies and blood and grot. So yeah.
Anyway, they continue transiting. They go into the next location, and then Lord Guard's like, "Don't worry, next location's happening." And during transit, they get confirmation. So Vel Keradrar.
Isn't the next location the important one to Angron?
It's Nuceria. Yeah. So they go to Nuceria, and Angron doesn't know this yet. During transit, Sauron receives confirmation from the Magos of the Conqueror, Vel Keradrar, that the nails are definitely killing Angron.
Yeah.
Which Lorgar already knows. And after this, you get this flashback, which is one of the most famous bits from this book, called The Night of the Wolf, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, we were just talking about how cool this bit was.
Yeah. So in The Night of the Wolf, it's a flashback to an earlier time in the Crusade, after Angron's joined the Legion, and after they've started to hear about what's happened. How the Warhounds have had the nails put in, and now they're all berserkers and they slaughter everyone and they're out of control.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting thing because it raises questions about the whole Space Wolves are the executioners thing, and whether that's really their job or whether it's the job Russ picks for himself and tries to enforce on everyone else.
Yeah.
So the Space Wolves, the Angrons just murdered a whole planet, and the Space Wolves land and square up against them and try and teach them a lesson by winning a battle against them.
Yeah, they say you can't just go and like destroy everybody. We are trying to stick to, a template here. We'll be doing this for the Emperor.
Yeah, and they're sort of there to like enforce. They're threatening him. They're like, we're gonna kill you if you don't bring your forces in line. Yeah. And at some point, Angron figures out that like the Emperor hasn't sent them. Russ is just there on his own accord. And there's this whole thing which becomes very famous because everyone thinks they won. So they basically, a battle starts in which the World Eaters are beating the Space Wolves, but the Space Wolves are using much better tactics. So they very quickly surround Angron, and Angron gets is facing a load of guns and is like, there's this big thing that happens where there's a conversation with Angron and Liman Russ, and Liman Russ is like, can't you see you're not using tactics? What you've done means you've lost because I've got you surrounded and you're the Primarch. And Angron goes, no, can't you see? I don't care if I die. My army don't care if I die.
Yeah.
If you kill me now, my army are still going to win.
Yeah.
So I win.
Yeah.
And Liman Russ is like, no, you don't understand. You're going to lose because I'm going to kill the commander. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You're going to lose because I don't matter.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped up with this conversation about you're a lapdog of a tyrant. The Emperor is a tyrannical, murdering bastard.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'd like more than this existence is to climb the steps of the throne and chop his head off.
I mean, it's so interesting because I've always thought Angron was just like the Hulk, but he says things that like, you want me to get planets to comply and then sell everyone into slavery, which is where I came from.
What's compliance? It's just slavery.
Yeah. And, you know, your Emperor is twisted and he's got it wrong. And I was like, Angron actually
He's right.
He's kind of right.
Yeah.
I mean, as a loyalist, I wouldn't say that in mixed company, but yeah, I mean, Angron knows exactly his place and he's furious with the Emperor for taking him away from his friends.
Yeah.
And then he's just laughing at Leman Russ saying, why are you trying to, you think our father's doing the right thing?
Yeah.
So I was not expecting a philosophical debate between, you know, these two legions.
And it really gives you this thing of like how they think, which is like way more believable, like weirdly way more believable than a lot of the other legions. Like the reality of the World Eaters is a lot more believable than the sort of like martial knightly honor of so many of the other ones. You're like, okay, well that is horrific.
They're all brainwashed in different ways, aren't they? They're all affected by their environment and their relationship with their dad. And I think later on Angron has this big rant I was saying to Ian where he's like, well, you had dad came down and hung out with you on your planet, or dad gave you this.
Yeah.
My dad gave me nothing. He zapped me up. All my friends died.
Yeah.
So
why should I give it? Yeah. You were a king on your planet.
Yeah.
Ross. You were the king of the wolves. I wasn't.
No.
So
good points, Angron. Well made.
Yeah, exactly. Angron's like, good points, well made. And the Space Wolves are like, but we won. We've proven that we can beat you. And he's like, I don't give a shit.
Leman Russ, in his frustration, howls.
Yeah.
He goes, oh! He just wolfs it and then he goes.
Yeah.
Oh, werewolves of Nuceria.
The werewolves of Fenris. Yeah. Anyway, that happens. Anyway, back on the place they're going, and we suddenly find ourselves on Nuceria,
which is Angron's home planet.
Yeah, Angron's from a city-state called Deshea on the planet of Nuceria. And we find the Nucerians. The Nucerians are like, well, where are those Imperials? Oh, remember the story of that slave Angron who ran away? Isn't that terrible? Anyway,
they have a 13-year-old king who bursts into tears when he sees Angron.
And their commander is like, oh, the Imperials are here. Oh, and they're like, oh, no, not the bloody Imperials again. It's been hundreds of years. Yeah. Remember when that bloody idiot Angron was around? Angron lands, goes to Deshea, and he learns that the High Riders, the people of Deshea, have a story where the Angron fled the last battle and left all of his followers to be slaughtered. And he's so angry at that he orders the entire planet's population to be eradicated.
But personally, in hand-to-hand combat.
Not by guns. Like, land, and we're going to kill you all one by one.
We're going to just mush up each city one at a time.
So 6 days later, they've killed everybody. Only the city of Miahor lands, and as they're all massing to fight this city, an Ultramarines armada reaches the system, which is like a vengeance fleet.
Is this on the edge of or part of the Ultramarines 500?
On the edge, yes. It's on the edge of Ultramar.
So dumb that they hung around there knowing the Ultramarines are probably quite upset.
Well, also, I think they think the Ultramarines are crippled, but the whole thing about the Ultramarines is their logistics are so good they can rebuild very fast.
Yeah.
So they've gone from Armatura in the 500 worlds to Deshea, to Nuceria just on the outside of it. So Ultramarines armor reaches the ship. The World Eaters charge toward the city. Sarin is trying to run interference in the void to stop the Loyalists making planetfall, but she's like, I'm not going to be able to do it. There's the Ultramarines fleet is here. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
They start. The Ultramarines are also vastly more tactically capable than either of these mad legions that they're fighting.
As if there wasn't enough going on.
Yeah.
Were you expecting this?
No, I wasn't.
Completely,
no. So
completely.
it's because we're still doing this plot. Aboard the Fidelitatis Lex, which is like under fire, Cyrene is approached by a guy called Daemon Pretanis, who's a perpetual working for the Cabal.
Which we haven't met Daemon before, have we?
No, we haven't. And he's like, Cyrene, don't you realise, by being brought back from the dead, you're now a perpetual. And this is a bad place for you, and you need to come and help us do the Cabal. But Cyrene's like, fuck off, you're weird.
Yeah.
And Cyrene has a bodyguard of Argel Tal's mates. Argel Tal's mates are now all have, they're called the Verek Jal, I think. And they have
green fire.
They're flamers on their wrists. And they burn Daemon Pretanis to death, which, as we know, won't do anything. But anyway.
I didn't know the turnaround was so quick for perpetuals, I have to say.
Yeah, well, it depends who you are. But but later on, as the Fidelitatis Lex is being destroyed by the Ultramarines fleet, like Lorgar transfers his command to the Trisagion, I think. And Fidelitatis Lex is being destroyed by the Ultramarines fleet. Pretanis reappears and sort of spirits her away, so she gets out.
She survives.
Yeah.
To be seen later in the Heresy?
To be seen later in the book series, yes.
Interesting.
And Pretanis, though he does a bit of a different job. So back to Nuceria. The loyalist troops are now through. They drop down onto the city. Legion Oberon lands with its Imperator Titan, the Corinthian, which is this massive Titan.
Everybody loves an Imperator.
And the Ultramarines land with Robute Guilliman, who's extremely angry.
Yay, Angry Guilliman is quite hot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about time.
So Angry Guilliman comes down, he's very pissed off.
He's normally so level-headed.
And all the Ember Wolves get to do a big fight. What they find is that at some point in this, Orden Lyrak comes back. They're all pissed off at Orden Lyrak.
Yeah.
And Orden Lyrak comes back and he's like, what, you said... Yes, I'm the administrator and you don't like me because I'm doing all your requisitions, but I am actually an actual Titan commander.
Yeah.
Sigala is gonna walk again. He offers them both their own Titans, and they say no to serve as Moderati on Sigala again. And he leads Sigala and all the other Titans in a walk where they use their harpoons to bring down
an
Corinthian.
Imperator.
Yeah.
Which is quite
they sort of use the harpoons to point the guns at the ground so they can't shoot.
Yeah, they send 5 squadrons of Warhounds, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot. If you're playing that on a table, I mean, you couldn't have enough points,
playground.
would you?
Yeah.
For all of those.
So yeah, that's what happens in that. Then we get to the big fight. So,
oh lordy, hallelujah. Yeah. Crikey, blimey, all the things.
So everyone's on the planet right now, even the Warhounds, because Lork's awake and he's like, all right, fine, I'm part of this, I guess. Gulliman turns up and duels Lorgar. He's very angry.
Yeah.
Angron joins in and saves Lorgar this time.
Yeah.
Leading, Gilliman actually accidentally steps back. They're on the field where Angron's forces were killed.
Yes.
And Gilliman steps back when Angron comes in and stands on one of the skulls of Angron's mates.
There'd been a very nice moment where Kharne says to Argel Tal, mind out the skulls, mate. If I were you, I wouldn't touch them. And Argel Tal puts it back really carefully.
Yeah.
So I thought this was beautiful. Gilliman accidentally crushes a skull and then Angron's like, Gilliman smash!
Yeah. And
game over.
Blood starts raining on the battlefield. Magic starts happening. Lorgar's doing a spell. Angron's being racked by energies of the warp because Lorgar's going to save him, remember? We don't know how yet.
We realise just all along, Lorgar's been listening to the music of the Chaos Warp. And he's like, I need another note from Angron. And he's trying to aggravate everybody. This rage of Angron on his birth planet, someone being stepped on the skull and having his brother fight him is the perfect thing to make Lorgar's magic spell happen. The blood starts raining. And this is what Lorgar was after all along. Yeah.
So then the the only sane world eaters, the Communion, the Psychers and Lork realise that Angron's doing something to... Sorry, Lorgar's doing something weird to Angron and they try and stop him. The Communion is extinguished trying to hold back this back. They're all die trying to thwart Lorgar. And Lork actually charges Lorgar. So Angron's fighting Gilliman and Lork charges Lorgar.
See? Look at him, the old Warhound trying to just do the right thing.
Also... because the World Eaters want... The Word Bearers want the World Eaters to fall to Khorne, Erebus is aware that Argel Tal, being nice, would have stopped Kharne doing it. So Erebus kills Argel Tal.
But listen, this is so bad the way he does it. He's told Argel Tal Kharne's going to be killed. So Argel Tal is trying to keep up with Kharne on his iron nails, who's just berserking across the city and saves Kharne from being killed about 7 times. But he's knackered. And right at the end, Erebus sneaks up and Argel Tal goes, see, I saved my friend.
Yeah.
And then
Erebus is
goes,
like, well, Argel Tal's got this whole story that he's going to die beneath the shadow of great wings. So he reckons he's going to get to Terra. And then Erebus kills him and then steps aside, and there was like some big Imperial wings on a building.
Yeah, and he's so horrible. He kind of tires him out, and then he calls him my boy, and all along Argel Tal said, please don't call me my boy. And then he stabs him in the back, kills his demon.
Yeah, kills the demon, yeah.
And then Argel Tal's like, my demon's gone, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And Erebus goes something like,
Mwahaha, I'm evil.
My boy.
Yeah.
I hate him so much. Why did no one tell me Argel Tal was going to die?
Angron...
Normally people spoil me in the comments.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Is he going to come back?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm not telling you. I've had to hide other ones from you.
I know.
I mean, Kharne we know survives because Kharne's in 40k.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Cool.
So, still in the throes of metamorphosis, Angron then saves Lorgar from Lork.
Yes.
So he kills Lork. And as he goes through his changes, the 13th Legion then retreat.
Yeah.
The Conqueror's nearly wrecked.
They say
half the fleet is nearly wrecked.
Gilliman's okay, though.
Gilliman's okay,
yeah.
But they have to fall back because Angron's turned into a giant demon. So, Angron at this point has turned into a demon Primarch. Bit like Fulgrim in Angel Exterminatus.
But he's gone like that. He didn't have to go snake form anything. He just went full demon.
So, their forms are different. So, by this point, Fulgrim's demon form is a big snake with wings.
Yeah.
Angron's demon form is a great big red demon.
Red Hulk, okay.
Yeah, so Red Hulk, yeah. So Angron's turned into Demon Angron, which in Lorgar's world is like, now you're free of the nails. I mean, your soul's been sold to Khorne and you're permanently in service to him forever and you're immortal and don't really have free will. But I did save you from the butcher's nails. And your entire legion's now sacrificed to Khorne. Whatever. So that happens on the planet. Lorgar then tells Kharne who killed Argel Tal, because Lorgar is pissed off at Erebus generally.
Yeah. Nobody likes Erebus.
And when they get to the fighting pits, Erebus ends up being pushed into fighting pits and Kharne steps in and goes to the death. And just at the point where you think Erebus is finally going to get payback and going to get killed by Kharne in the fighting pits, he does like a magic spell and disappears.
So annoying.
And then deep in Angron, the final note we see is Angron's back in his like weird confinement chamber and Kharne is brought in and ordered to gather all the skulls and build him a throne.
So Angron is now...
Khorne demon Angron.
He's Lorgar's prisoner.
Well, Lorgar can't really control him, but Lorgar's now raised him to demonhood in the name of Khorne. So he is now a servant of the Chaos Power Khorne.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate Lorgar.
So that's the end of Betrayer.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did we like this book?
We love this book.
It's such a good book. It has so many interesting characters that are like, all have their own unique thing. Like, I really like how simply the characters are drawn. Like once you have the conversation about why they did the butcher's nails, then when Lork wakes up, you only have to go, this guy's from before. And suddenly that's all you need to know about Lork. Like Delvarus is the guy who leads the Triari and Delvarus fucked off. And that's all you need to know about Delvarus. It's so beautifully simply done characters.
Yeah, I mean, also I think we get a lot of payoff for all the previous reading we've done. And you were just waiting for all these stories to converge. So you get that as well.
We've got Cyrene back, but Argel Tal gone. I don't think anyone's expecting... Excuse me.
I wasn't expecting Cyrene back. I certainly wasn't expecting Argel Tal to die because he just seemed like such a big character.
Yeah. There's a weird thing where everyone in the World Eaters loves harpoons.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of harpooning.
But
I wasn't mad at it.
You've got Lotera Saren.
Yes, Lotera. I thought she was amazing. She was kind of scared of Angron, but she was the only one that could kind of talk back to him.
There's like quite a good relation. There's a whole thing in the World Eaters also that makes them so much more relatable is that Angron hates being called like Lord.
Yeah.
He'll vaguely accept Sire, maybe.
Yeah.
But otherwise you're meant to just call him Angron.
Yeah.
Which then breaks down all the other command doesn't really. There's a great story in this about the Devourers, which is, you know how all the legions have, the commanders have bodyguards.
Yeah.
So like, they've got all their fancy bodyguards.
It's such a great story.
Yeah. So you've got this thing that was before Angron got back, there was their return to them. The Legion had this elite bodyguard unit for the Legion commander called the Devourers, who were Terminator armor. And it was a big champion thing of everyone contested to get in the Devourers. When Angron came back, he's a gladiator. He was like, I don't fucking need a bodyguard. So Angron, every time the Devourers go down, Angron just runs away. He just goes and does his own thing. He doesn't need them. them and they don't care. So over time, the Devourers have become something of a joke. They still stand outside his quarters and guard it, but basically everyone just takes the piss out of them. And no one even really bothers challenging for entry into their ranks anymore. But they still act like they're the bodyguard of the Legion.
Like Angron goes off on a tear and they're trying to chase after him.
In
like, we're trying to protect you.
Terminator plate that's very slow.
Yeah.
And it's like all this is broken down. So in the Legion, there's a really nice relationship that Lotterer has and Kharne have, where they're on first name basis.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Kharne, he's done something stupid again. Can you go and help?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, it makes them a very personable Legion.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I just feel very sad at the end, but hey ho.
We've met the World Eaters properly now.
Yeah.
They're lovely.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but they're a lot more understandable. And yeah, I mean, feel very bad for all of them having to have nails.
I know, right? They just did it to try and fit in.
Yeah. Lorgar is peak Lorgar as well.
He's peak Lorgar in this.
Yeah.
He's a bit less petulant than when he was in
Teenage Loincloth.
Yeah, but also when he was in like the No Fear. And there's a bit of a thing here which I'm not completely sure of, because there's like, was it ever Lorgar in No Fear, or was it like a hologram being the teenage annoying one, or was it Lorgar who then left, or Lorgar was like a fake Lorgar? The one in No Fear, Gilliman has a conversation with him and Lorgar's like a petulant child.
Yes.
And in this, Lorgar's a bit more of a scheming manipulator. And he's obviously, by this point, he's like, let Erebus and Corphaeron go and do their stupid Calth thing.
Yeah.
I'll be here saving my brother.
But also, Lorgar's come into much more power now. All his psychic abilities in this are pretty massive. So, yeah, he's definitely becoming more of a contender.
We have many questions about them. There's a lot of time the same question. Shall we go through this? So, James says, who's the betrayer?
You know who that is? That's Historita Gemaldus.
Who is the betrayer in this book, Mira?
Oh, there are so many of them, aren't there? I think we could go right back to our little dreadnought friend. He feels betrayed by his Legion turning bad. We've got Lorgar betraying Angron.
Sort of, yeah. I think that's the big one, right? Lorgar's betraying Angron because he says, I'm going to save you. And he technically does, but in the worst way possible.
Yeah. And then we've got Erebus betraying everybody.
Well, particularly betraying Argel Tal.
Yeah.
So is that the betrayer? Is Erebus, or is the betrayer Lorgar?
I don't know.
I think those are your options, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically there's loads of them, right? There's Delvaris.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's just a book full of, if you're into betrayal, this is the book for you.
Jim Hennigan says, does the World Eater's unrequited love for Angron remind you of some of the Primarch's unrequited love for the Emperor, particularly the later discovered ones? Does it ever remind you of being desperate for the approval of someone you fancy that doesn't fancy you back, Mira? Is the fact that Kharne is soberly aware of the situation makes them even more tragic?
Okay, one at a time.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So we've spoken about this before. The Space Marines react to their dad the way their dad reacts to the Emperor quite often. So Angron feels abandoned by his father. Therefore, Angron Space Marines are treated the same way. Angron doesn't really appear to care. So they have that unrequited love. And yeah, I think that's one of the best things about the Horus Heresy. You see, how different Primarchs deal with the Emperor's treatment of them.
I wonder if there's something actually, one of the things that makes the World Eaters so human is the fact that they aren't affected by that weird psychic thing. Like so many of the legions are fundamentally incapable of thinking bad of their Primarch, which makes them kind of cartoon characters, right? A lot of the time that manifests as, well, obviously I am with you, my liege lord. And it becomes very like fantasy novel, like COD fantasy novel. But because Angron doesn't have that effect, Kharne and Skane and all these characters feel a lot more real. Because they're not like being Saturday morning cartoon characters.
Well, this is the first book where anyone's ever spoken against their Primarch.
Well, I mean, Loken and Garrow, but they're
But that was a little bit, it wasn't the whole Legion being like, our dad doesn't pay attention to us.
This guy. Yeah. Are you aware that the title Betrayal was an intentional reference to Kharne the Betrayer?
Wait a minute, there's a question for you.
What?
Ian, does it ever remind you of being desperate for the approval of someone?
That's not for me. That's for you.
Why is that for me?
It's for you.
Sexist.
You're the single one.
I think when I was younger, I would be very desperate for the approval of someone I fancy, and I try everything I could to say, oh, look, I'm bright and shiny. Now, if someone doesn't fancy me, I'm like, oh, that's a bit less effort that I have to expend. Thank you. Rejection is protection. And you should only really try and pursue someone who sees the good in you.
And
so
do not bang nails in your head that say otherwise.
do not bang nails or anything.
No.
Unless they approve of you and fancy you back. It is the fact that Kharne is soberly aware of the situation make this even more tragic. Yes.
But also it shines a light on all the other legions who are like almost incapable of having a unique thought.
Yeah. But I mean, Kharne is a very sorrowful character. He's sad for the whole way through. Yeah. Especially after being impaled on a flipping,
which we get in Drop Site Massacre, which we should do that.
Let's do that.
Anyway, Mira, are you aware that the title Betrayal was an intentional reference to Kharne the Betrayer from 40k?
So Kharne's going to start betraying?
He does a bit of betraying later.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah,
Kharne, don't do it. Stay true.
Unrelated, but we talked about this in one of the previous books, Who's in the Primarch Band. The unrelated, but in the Primarch Band, the lion is, and we were like, the lion's like the soloist who left because everyone got annoyed with him, or the first bass player. The Primarch Band, he reckons Lion is Dave Mustaine, the founding member who got kicked out for being a dick.
Oh my God, fair enough.
They found him. What's Dave Mustaine from?
He had to form Megadeth after he got kicked out of was it Iron Maiden or Metallica? I don't know.
Tell
us in the comments.
Says, for Betrayer, Mira, where are you on the betrayed scale after reading this book?
I mean, I'm 180, 360 degree betrayed. I'm completely betrayed.
Apotheon 2000. I really like how the World Eater's relationship with Angron is the focal point of the Legion's tragedy. They're all desperate to be loved by a man who's never known love and can only feel good by doing violence. I think there's a beautiful comparison to be made about masculinity, where the positive, genuine relationships of brotherhood are contrasted with the abusive sibling relationship that's presented as loving, Lorgar and Angron. Plus, we get the best traitor human in Lotera and the best character in Lorg.
I think this is a lovely statement. Let's all marry this question. Some really beautiful points made. This does smack of someone in a lecture hall going, have you got any questions? No, I'm just going to tell you.
No, I do say questions or observations.
Oh, okay.
So that is allowed.
It's a lovely observation.
I would say there is something quite nice, though. I don't think, you've said a few times that Angron couldn't give a shit, and I don't think that's true. It's clear that Angron does care about some people. He does care about Kharne. He does care about Lotera. Like a bit. Like there are definitely people where, and there is this idea
in as much as someone with a death wish can.
Yeah, I mean,
put that caveat.
He calls them little brothers.
Yeah.
They're not, he doesn't see them as his kids. They're his little brothers. They're his next set of gladiators.
Yeah.
And so it's not that he's incapable of liking or caring about any of them. He's just very locked into the idea that we're all going to die. And it doesn't matter.
But none of them feel any attachment to him, and they are yearning for it.
I don't know if they feel like they're in the same army, I think, but I don't think they feel the sort of weird attachment the other legions do.
Yeah.
I think it's clear here that they do care in some way, but it's like colleagues.
Yeah. But he's not the most loving, is he?
No. But weirdly, their relationship is in some way more honest than some of the other legions.
Yeah.
They're all soldiers.
They're not blindly following.
They know that they're the soldiers impressed and forced to fight for a tyrant who is giving people no quarter, whether they join his empire or not. And they're all in this bucket together, and they're going to get through it the best they can.
Yeah.
And they're very resigned to that, which is in some ways a more honest relationship than, my liege, I shall be the most honourable of your squires, that so many other legions are.
It's certainly less troubling, problematic / kinky compared to Emperor's children and their relationship with their daddy.
Yeah, or the Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is my liege, I will fight for you forever because you're the absolute best, and then he just kills you.
Yeah. It's a tough life being a space marine.
Do the Manta Ray says, I have two questions. Allow me to preface this slightly. The book really made me look at Lorgar in a different light. He goes to such lengths for a brother who does not care for him. He was always the runt of the litter, and here he is showing genuine love and care for his family, even if he looks up to them.
This is trolling.
This is surely a lie. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think there is a desire in Lorgar to be that person for his brothers.
Yeah.
Which we get a lot, and they don't give a shit about him. But also, there's a huge desire in Lorgar for Lorgar to be right, and Lorgar to be the best, and Lorgar to be the holiest. And so is this real or a way of him proving?
I think it's Lorgar coming into his power, being able to jettison some hangers-on like Corferon and Erebus, and doing what he wants. He kept a really big secret so he could transmutate Angron and didn't tell Angron. So I think he's probably thinking he's doing it for the best. And what you're saying as well. He wants to just take charge and do it and be the big cheese.
It says he feels attached to his brothers now. He obviously cares about the brothers' opinions. He cares about Magnus.
He doesn't care about Angron properly.
He doesn't really care about Angron's opinion.
No.
He doesn't care about, he cares about Magnus's, this is the thing, right? He cares about Magnus's opinion in as much as when someone criticizes him, he's annoyed, and then he says, well, screw you, go away. Yeah. That's his reaction to Magnus. Like, he doesn't actually listen to Magnus.
No.
He wants Magnus to like him.
True. Yeah.
That's actually the interesting thing. Yeah. So I think the idea that Lorgar is terrible is too simple. The idea that Lorgar really seriously cares about his brothers and just wants to be loved is also too simple.
I think.
And we see that in the previous book when there's things like Lorgar is doing the drop site massacre and is sort of pretend sad about it and wants to say that it's Cortheron's idea. Yeah. Because he doesn't agree with it. He just doesn't want to think of himself as being the person who would do it.
I think the main motivator for Lorgar has always been his power and spreading the word and his relationship with the Chaos Gods.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything else around that is, it's going to be him setting himself up for whatever he can. And if sometimes he can say, but I'm caring, or I really don't want to be the bad guy, he will do that. He's a deceiver. Well,
I think also like a lot of the religious content in a lot of these books, and the way in which he thinks, I think there's a lot with Lorgar where he wants to be the savior, which requires other people to think he's the savior. So he'll do whatever he wants, but he wants approval for it.
He needs PR.
And if people go, actually, Lorgar, that won't work, it's a bad idea, he tells them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because he's still going to do his thing. And so whether Angron would have thanked him for being turned into a demon primarch is irrelevant because he's going to do it and he expects that to be, he thinks that's a good thing and has convinced himself he's doing a good thing.
Yeah. Do it and be damned.
He's going to be the saviour of Angron, whether Angron wants to be saved or not. Yeah. And I think that's where you get this thing.
That's a bit like when Ian said you're going to start your own Warhammer channel.
Yeah. Also, I think there's that thing where he obviously goes and stands in front of a Titan for Angron. Yeah. And you're like, is that genuinely because he wants to save Angron? Or is it because
he needed Angron?
Because he needs Angron's approval? Or he wants Angron on side, or he wants to complete his ritual.
Well, the other confounding factor, Ian, is that Lorgar often cites, and Erebus, they have seen what is coming. Lorgar is also walking a path that he needs for fate to be locked for the Siege of Terror.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really could do like a 2-hour video on this.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Anyway, also same conversation we already had about Angron and his arguments against the Emperor when he's fighting Russell, tyranny. And I think that we've said that, the thing about Angron is that surprisingly, he's one of the few ones where you're like, yeah, that's the opposite view to all the other ones, but you're kind of right.
Yeah, good essay. It's actually, A+.
Yeah, it's also more well phrased than anything. Horus sort of comes round to this opinion, but he comes round to this opinion because he wants to be the tyrant. Whereas Angron's position is, you're all slaving bastards.
Yeah, and it's so matter of fact. And I mean, really, that was such a revelation, that moment. It's made me see Angron in a very different light, just in time for him to be turned into a demon and lose all sense of sanity.
Thomas Perry unfortunately asked the same question we just answered. Was Lorgar entirely thinking of his own aims when he made Angron into a demon prince, or was there some actual love for his brother involved?
Well, Mira thinks no, Ian thinks possibly.
Maybe a mix of convincing himself it is. But beyond the Space Wolf has written in, and he says, one of the best of the Heresy, I really love how the doom and darkness of the main plot is offset by the lovable rogues who accompany the World Eaters. What are your favourite non-marine characters in this? I adore the comedian mage. Oh yes, Velcaridar is very good. Yes, that's true. Yeah. He attempts to make jokes. I do like Velcaridar. Yes, that is true. I'd sort of forgotten that.
There are some great little funny moments in here, aren't there?
Yeah, I like the Moderati are quite fun. Lotta is fun. I think other people like Lotta more than I do, but I think she's a nice idea. Yeah, she's a bit one note.
I mean, I really liked the spaceship captain. I was a bit disappointed by Cyrene, her reappearance.
Yeah, she doesn't need to come back. She died so well.
Well, I was thinking she'd do a miracle or something. She was a bit sidelined. And
it's a tool to get the Erebus plot going, and she didn't really need to come back.
Well, she might be back in the future as a perpetual, but I think I need to reread the comedian Majos stuff as well, because I might have missed some of that.
I like Velkeradar. He's quite fun.
Yeah.
Philip Coulomb-Jones, healthy serving of betrayer questions.
Flipping
Right.
heck.
Okay, here we go.
He better be on a high Patreon tier.
Hey,
Got 50 questions.
I didn't check that. He's not got that many. How much foreplanning do you think Lorgar had towards Angron's ascension? Was the entire Shadow Crusade designed to provide enough sacrifice for it?
Yes.
Yes. I think there's a reason he took him to Nuceria.
Yeah.
And
He was like, I've saved a special planet just for you, bro.
Yeah.
And if you read the book, he's continually checking in on listening to this orchestra and the conduction.
Yeah.
And is the notes right? Is the cacophony right?
And it might be that he doesn't know what the actual correct thing is, but he's testing the waters and going, what if I go here? Oh, the music's got better.
Yeah.
What if we land there? Oh, the music's got better.
Yeah.
It's all like that.
Wasn't it Argel Tal that was fucking up the noise? Sorry to do a swear. Someone had a conversation and it was like a goodie and he was coming in the way of the discordant notes.
Continuing Lorgar themes, the last time he and Guilliman share a scene at time of writing.
Oh, spoiler.
How does this leave their rivalry, and what do you think the threads established here have on Roboot's 40k characterization now that he's got round to reading his brother's
Well, now
book?
I know either Lorgar or Guilliman don't show up on Terra at the end. So.
Well, Guilliman, that's already in the thing. But yeah.
So
actually, yeah, they neither. Anyway.
How does this leave their rivalry? I think it's
no different to before, right?
No, I think it's a very unsatisfying end to their kind of shouting at each other because you would want a kind of better resolution, but certainly
they're both characters existing in 40k, so one of them can't kill the other.
Okay,
they can't agree.
No,
so yeah, I don't think it leaves it any different to previously.
The best thing about the confrontation was seeing Guilliman absolutely angry and enraged, and that was very, very. We've been waiting for him to go for flipping mental.
And lastly, of course, who was the betrayer, and where on the funny tragic scale does the irony that Kharne was one of the people being betrayed this time sit?
It's going to hit a lot harder when I know what he's doing in betraying in 40k, isn't it?
That's not even. I don't think there's even a book about Kharne doing the betraying. David, there might be. Anyway, David Ray, questions to Mira. So how much more do you hate Erebus after what he did to Argel Tal?
I hate him so much. He's awful. Standing up to say that.
Yeah.
And to Ian, what do you think would have been Kharne's fate if Argel Tal had lived?
Would Khorne have cared enough about him to resurrect him after the siege? More spoilers. But
Corny Kharne.
I think the point is that if Argel Tal is there, could him and Kharne have stopped Angron's ascension? Because the Warhounds try and stop Angron being turned into a demon. And if it was the Wargrounds and Kharne and Argel Tal, would that have stopped Lorgar being turned into a demon? Angron being turned into a demon? I
thought Erebus did it because he was worried that Argel Tal would make he'd be the seed of good.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if it was connected to it's a
much bigger play.
Yeah. I think it would have been fine if Argel Tal had still existed. I'm very cross about this.
Right. Okay. Right. Good questions. Who's this? This is not a bird. Okay. Says, is Realm the best demon? Hasn't done anything bad. He's not trying to take over Argel Tal's body. He's even thankful that Argel Tal helps him see things more mashily. Is Realm friendly demon?
Yeah, Realm is good.
Okay,
he's not on the bastard scale.
Did Lorgar betray Angron? Would Angron have preferred to die instead of becoming a demon? Yes, of course he would.
Lorgar betrayed him up the hill. Very bad.
Pyrrha Parker, this is probably my favourite Heresy book. What do you think the Emperor's reasoning was for leaving Angron's family behind?
Because they're a bunch of nutters and killers, probably.
I think there's two things. I think we discussed this in After the Shea, but I think there's two reasons, right? One is your son has fallen in with the worst human beings ever. Do you want him to bring them into the Legion?
No, from me.
And then the second one is it's payback, right? Angron's the only Primarch who told the Emperor to fuck off. So the Emperor goes, well, screw you then. I'm going to show you that I'm powerful.
The Emperor, what
You're being beamed up and your people are going to die.
What a bad dad.
I think that's the two reasons, yeah.
But the thing is, if you are a father and your kid's hanging out with, bad influence, you've got to move to another school.
Anyway,
is
Angron justified in his hatred of the Emperor and calling him out during the Night of the Wolf truth or just bitterness? It is bitterness, but it's also the most direct and truthful anyone is about the Emperor in any of these books.
I think Angron's allowed his feelings.
Yeah, and he's right. Like, I mean, obviously the Emperor is like, of course I need to conquer the galaxy, but honestly, it's for good, honest. Yeah. Angron's position is very simple. You don't do slaving. Yeah. And the Emperor's a slaving bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not wrong.
Compliance is not freedom, people.
Neil Webber, this is my favourite of the Heresy series. Does this change how you've seen Lorgar, especially with an explanation on the planning for who he's sent to Calth? And do you think the end is a bit of a twist given the book's title? The end isn't. The end
For
could be
me,
anything.
100% twist.
Okay.
There was twist after twist after twist.
I think
Too twisty. I couldn't handle it.
I do think having the Legion obviously be split after the first heretic. So now it's very clear that Erebus and Corferon are doing their thing, and Lorgar isn't really that impressed by them.
Yeah.
And that is very clear in this book.
That really surprised me. There's been a big evolution there we haven't seen. I think it made me think, oh my God, Lorgar has been pretending to all these people he's doing something over here when he actually has a completely different plan.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really clever. He's a sneaky bastard.
I think there's also maybe a subtle difference in it feels like Erebus and Corferon are, we're doing the Chaos God's work because we're going to bring down the Imperium and kill everyone for the glory of chaos. And Lorgar feels a little bit more like, I now know what chaos is, and obviously as a religious person, I now believe it is the thing we should all be following.
He loves the
But I'm going to use it for my aims, which is slightly less insane.
He does seem slightly less insane. I mean, I just keep thinking back to him in his gold paint and eyeliner, all sad after his planet was destroyed. He's a completely different being. He's one to be feared now.
We have 2 people on the bastard scale. We should have 3 though. So we'll add our 3 people on the bastard scale. Number 1 bastard, Angron. Is he a bastard?
No.
Not that bastardy in this.
He's not a bastard. He's just a very angry boy.
Just a very angry boy.
I think the nails preclude him. Let's give him 1 or 2 on the bastard
Okay, do we put
scale.
the butcher's nails on the bastard scale?
Yeah.
Okay, what are the butcher's nails on the bastard
10.
scale? 10. Okay.
10.
Lorgar.
Lorgar, I think we have to give him an 8.
Okay, an 8 for Lorgar.
For demoning his brother.
And of course...
Erebus. I mean, Erebus, throw the bloody bastard scale out the window. Erebus is like 800 million. He's just... Every time, like, firstly, he turns up and I'm like, no, I have a visceral, like, oh God, what's going to happen? And I said to Ian, it was even worse. And Ian's like, every time he appears, he gets worse. I don't know how much more I can take. So on the bastard scale, he's now 14. I'm sure we've given him 11, 12, but he's 14 on the bastard scale. Bugger off, Erebus. Just let the universe.
We have been fully betrayed. Betrayal has happened. Onwards to the next one. What's the next book in the series?
The next one is a collection of stories. It's edited by Laurie Harding, is it?
Laurie Goulding.
Laurie Goulding.
Mark of Calth. Yeah, Mark of Calth's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Mark of Calth, and then one of my favourites. Actually, no, there's loads. Mark of Calth, Vulcan Lives, Unremembered Empire, Scars.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to talk to you about Dropsite Massacre.
Yeah, we'll do that next.
And
Out of sequence, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Cool. Until next time, Mira, thanks for all the betrayal. Happy demoning.
Yay.
Bye.
Don't turn your brother into a demon.
Don't turn your brother into a demon unless he really wants to. And if you'd like to follow this series, well, like and subscribe and you'll probably get notifications. And check below for details of the Patreon, the YouTube membership scheme, the merch store, and of course, the second channel. See ya!